So, everything
Hello,
enough?
everyone, and my name is Art. Another talk in our international interdisciplinary seminar series in Romani Studies, which is already going for the fourth year. It's the end of the fourth academic year how we run it, and our partners are the Institute for Russian and Eurasian Studies, Uppsala University in Sweden, and our main partner is Stefan Ledery, who is the president of the Roma Foundation in Zurich, Switzerland. And today, this is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Christo Pelikani from Cyprus, whom I met several years ago on Cyprus, actually, during the conference in Romani Studies, which Elena Maroshyakova then organized and Veselin Popov organized as part of the Gypsy Lore Society annual meeting. And since then, I actually wanted again to meet Christo, and many things happened in our lives. And finally, we reconnected. And I'm so happy to have Christo today with a talk, The Gurbetties of Cyprus, Identity, Marginalisation, and Language Preservation. So Hrissa is a special scientist at the Language Center of the University of Cyprus and Turkologist at the 18th Agios Antonios Primary School in Limassol, supporting communication between Roma and non-Roma communities. Hrissa Pelikani is the president of the Association of Roma and Friends in Cyprus. And of course, she holds a PhD in Turkish studies. And her research focuses exactly on the Gurbetties of Cyprus and their identity and human rights and the preservation of the language. Dr. Pelikani also participates in several European projects on minority language policies, multilingualism, and also xenophobia and discrimination of other people, and particularly Dr. Pelikani's expertise is on Gurbetti and Roma, of course. Gurbetties or Roma, now we will hear that, in Cyprus. And this is especially, we again a little bit expanded our geography for seminar and or talks, whatever we call it, because we started this academic year with the talk of Ozanustuk from Urla, Izmir area, Turkey. And now I think we will
We don't hear you
hear
very well.
some probably links between Turkey and Cyprus. So
Okay, shall we continue?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's go.
I didn't hear. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for very much for the invitation. It is truly a pleasure and an honor to be here today and to have the opportunity to share my work with you. As I said before, I'm a linguist. I work more related to the linguistic part of the language of Roma. But today I will not focus so much on the language, but on the identity, marginalization, and language preservation. But before I begin, I would like to invite you to reflect on something that may seem quite simple, but it is actually fundamental to understanding the topic of this presentation. So these two questions that are very important for me. So these are the main thing that I focus and I continue my presentation. So what happens when a community exists but it is not seen? And the second one is what happens when a language is spoken but not recognized. So when we think about the societies we live in, we often assume that we understand them. We believe that we know who belongs and who is visible and who participates in social life. We imagine society as something structured, organized, and relatively transparent. However, If we take a closer look, we realize that this perception is often incomplete. There are communities that exist around us, sometimes in the same cities, sometimes even in the same neighborhoods, and yet remain largely unseen. Not because they are physically absent, but because they are not fully recognized within the dominant social and institutional framework. Their presence is there. This is that what I focus. I mean, the Gurbetties are there, but their visibility is limited. And this is what we describe as being invisible in plain sight. The Gurbetties of Cyprus, as I said before, represent a very clear example of such a community. They are, they are part of Cypriot society. They live, some of them, they work and interact with others, and yet they are not fully acknowledged within it in Cypriot society. Today, I would like to explore this idea of invisibility through their case and show how identity, marginalization, and language are deeply interconnected. So the overview of my presentation are, I will start with giving you who are the Gurbetties of Cyprus to have an idea. A historical, very short mention about the historical and social political context, the identity, marginalization, and visibility, Gurbetcha as an endangered mixed language, the language shift and social exclusion, and I will finish with the strategies for what we have to do related to this language and the Gurbetts, of course, but especially with the language to preserve the language. So strategies for documentation, education, and policy support. So before moving forward, it is important to explain why this matters. At first glance, this might seem like a very specific case, a small community, a minority language, a local context. However, what we are discussing today goes far beyond this particular example. This is not only about language, it's about visibility, it is about identity, it is about social justice. Visibility is crucial and in any society, yeah? And when a community is visible, it can be recognized and represented as well and included in decision-making processes. But when a community like Gurbettis remains invisible, its needs are often, their needs and its needs, the societies, are often overlooked. It becomes easier for institutions and society to ignore it. There are a lot of cases that Cypriot, they don't know who are the Gurbettis, and even if they are living among us, and they don't know that if we have Roma in Cyprus, which is a matter that is very important to strangle a little bit, not only the Cypriots to make them visible, but also themselves as Roma. They have to try to be visible, either by giving, what they have, either with music, with what they have to, they have to show it. They have to be visible in the society. So the language also is very important. The identity is also important. It's equally important. Language plays also a key role in shaping identity. It is not simply a tool for communication. It is a way of expressing belonging, history, and shared experience. When a language like Gurbetcha, the language of Roma in Cyprus, is weakened or disappears, this has direct consequences for how a community understands itself. Language survival also is therefore not only a linguistic issue, but also a social one. And finally, this is a matter of social justice. So, to fully understand my journey with the community, I used to work, and I work at the primary school of Ayos Antonios in Limassol. For 10 years, I was working there without any clue that they speak Gurbetcha. We are talking in Turkish. Very few. They don't speak Greek. Very few words or some expressions. So our communication was in Turkish, because I'm also a Turkish speaker, language speaker. Um, so the first contact with Roma children and families was in Cyprus, in Limassol, at the Agios Antonios Primary School. After that, it was something happened at the school, and they called me. The administrator called me, and they said, "Okay, translate what happened." Something said a boy, something said very bad word to another boy. So that was the beginning of my journey related to the language. I realized that yes, they speak Gurbetcha. One word, the word that they said was lafta, and the Greek boy said that, oh no, it's not, it's a bad word, and why you told me that I am whatever, I mean a bad word. And I called the mother, and they said, no, Chriso, in our language, what language? We speak Turkish. No, in our language, Gurbetcha, lafta is not a bad word. Lafta, it means boy. So come on, my boy. So it's not a bad a word. Why you call me and to come to your school? I mean, my boy said, okay, come on, boy. From that moment, I decided to, that's time. Nobody did this kind of research it was a time to start researching the language, and that was my journal, and it was really nice, difficult, but it was worth analyzing and working and researching this community and this lovely language, let's say in the brackets. From the academic interest, of course, I help them, and we move on to the social responsibility. And this is what we do with the CyProm, with the association. We help the people in all aspects, in education, in health issues, whatever they have. They come and they know who to knock the door, and they ask for help. So the school is in the Limassol. Here it's the Mishaoulen Gavazoglu, a historical, let's say, address and place. It's situated between the Turkish Cypriot and Greek Cypriot neighborhoods in Limassol. The school reflects actually the city's layered history and multicultural character. They used to live Turkish Cypriots, but now also and Greek Cypriots as well, but now also they live a lot of other foreigners in the area, which is very nice because there are a lot of events with all these multicultural. We make a lot of multicultural events, not only in the school and also outside of the school. So it is today surrounded by churches, mosques, historical cities, and the vibrant Limassol Marina. The school stands as a living example of coexistence, diversity, and cultural interaction. So now, who are the Gurbetties? The Gurbetties are the Roma community living in Cyprus, with estimates suggesting a population ranging between the approximately 1,250 and 3,000 individuals. Historically are connected with the Turkish Cypriot community, but they are not considered as an ethnic minority or as a religious community. We have, of course, communities that are recognized. We have the Maronites, we have the Latin, which are they are recognized, and Latin, marginalized, and Armenians living in Cyprus. Officially classified within the Turkish Cypriot community, they're under this umbrella of the Turkish Cypriot community, not formally recognized as a separate ethnic or linguistic minority, and often they are absent from public, political, and institutional discourse. According to the 1960 Constitution of the Republic of Cyprus, Gurbetties of Cyprus belong to the, as I said before, belong to the Turkish Cypriot community. There are no official records of the arrival of Gurbetties in Cyprus. They said that they came from, the Ottoman Empire, but still there are not any specific 100% specific documentation of this of their arrival in Cyprus. So we don't have a precise official records. As I said before, they said according to the Council of Europe estimates that there are approximately 1,250. They are not a lot. That's the reason that they are the government. They don't take a specific horizontal specific measures to the Roma. They take measures that belongs to the all people, not specific with related to Roma. And Marginalised, it means a long time ago argued that there are more Roma in the island. Their number reaches 2,000 between 2,000 and 3,000 people, resulting from the annual influx of Anatolian Roman life. We have, of course, Roma that comes from Bulgaria and Romania, and of course we have in Cyprus, but now we are talking about the Roma, the Cypriot Roma, the Gurbetties. And also we used to have also in Larnaca, the Roma that came from the Byzantine Empire that they call Mandides, but these are not exist. I mean, they got married with Greek Cypriots, so there are not a lot. You cannot recognize, you cannot understand them that yes, are Roma. Maybe from the surnames or from their occupation or their job, yes, you may understand, but still you cannot understand that they are the Mandis. But the Gurbettis you can understand because of the language, and they are living among the Cypriot. Related to their location, they live mainly in Famagusta, Trico, Momorpho, in the occupied area. In the Republic of Cyprus, they live in Limassol mainly and in Paphos. In Limassol, in the Agios Antonios area, as I mentioned before, where the school is located, and in Polemidia. Very few families are living in Polemidia. And in Paphos, in Bakunda, Stavrokonou, and Polis Chrysochous. Now, the identity negotiation. Let's see with related to the identity is in the case of Gurbettis is complex, fluid and multi-layered. It cannot be understood as something fixed or stable. It is instead it is something that is constantly negotiated and reshaped through the social interaction and everyday experience. The Gurbettis identify themselves as Gurbet, which is Arabic, the foreigner. It means foreigner, as far as I know, and they refer to their language as Gurbetcha. This internal identification is particularly important because it reflects how the community understands itself and constructs a sense of belonging. It is a form of self-definition that carries cultural, historical, and emotional significance. However, identity is not formed only internally. It is also shaped by external perceptions. In wider Cypriot society, the Gurbettis are often labeled using terms that may carry negative or stereotypical connotations. So there are sometimes they say, first of all, they say that they are Cypriot, then they say we are Turkish Cypriots, which are, let's say, the more dominant word, they're more official, let's say. And then they, between themselves, they call themselves as Ole, Fellah, Gori, Fello, Kullufi, Chilingiri, and Çingene, actually. This based also to the Öztürk research. This create actually a tension. And again, Ole Fellah, sometimes they say it not in a good meaning. Sometimes it depends in which context and they say it and they use it. So sometimes they say, no, this is Çingene. No, I am a Gurbet. And the other is Çingene. So they, even with the terminology, they distinguish the level of their living standard of their living, the social status, let's say. So names, labels, and social perception. In Cyprus, many names have been used to refer to these people. Tsinganos, Aegyptos, Athinganos, Kouloufos, Kilingiros, which actually are not very well and are not very well, these words, and discriminated. There is discrimination if you use these words. So because it's are not, they use it, they still use it in the Greek Cypriots, these words, but also they are not using only I mean, these labels and these names only for Roma. They use it for people that are not clean. They don't have a stable life. They are not well educated. So these are the labels that they still use, and unfortunately in the Cypriot society. So regarding the marginalization, the social marginalization is a central concept for understanding the position of the Gurbetties, and it is important to emphasize that it does not refer to a single issue, but to a broader structural condition. In education, many children from the community face significant challenges. These include language barriers. As I said, they speak at home, they speak Gurbetcha, some of them, which again, the Gurbetcha are not very they're not very high the level of the Gurbetcha. There are specific words, expressions that they use. Unfortunately, the young generation are they don't have this knowledge, the very well knowledge of Gurbetcha. Unfortunately, this includes, as I said, language barriers, lack of institutional support. So they speak Turkish, Gurbetcha, Turkish, and then they come to the Greek school and they struggling to understand their teachers. And this is my role there, to help not only the teachers and students. I am trying also to communicate with the families and with all the other people that they want to communicate between the Roma and themselves. So I am the communicator in the school, and they are, which actually is one of the measures that the Ministry of Education took, that the Turkish Cypriot is there and they teach Turkish, which is good, and the Turkologists that they are trying to for the communication between the families, because unfortunately they are not their Greek level is very, very low. So this includes language barriers in the educational aspects, lack of institutional support, and in some cases, early school leaving. We still have, and especially they finish the primary school and they don't want to continue the high school. When a child enters school with a different linguistic background and without adequate support, this can affect both performance and confidence. In regards to the education, to the employment, opportunities are often limited. Many individuals are engaged in informal or unstable forms of work. The problem is that maybe they don't trust the Greek Cypriot employers, they don't trust them. And another issue is that they don't know Greek, so it's very difficult to find work. So they are struggling to find other ways of getting their salary, but again, as I said, which is very difficult in nowadays to find other ways to survive. This creates, of course, economical insecurity and reduces possibilities for long-term planning and social mobility. Housing is another important factor. Many families live in Turkish after the 1974, after the invasion. After that, there is Turkish Cypriot left, as also the Greek Cypriot left from the occupied area. So these houses were empty. So they gave them after when they came back after the opening of the borders, they gave them the permission to live in these houses. So they gave them access to these houses that belongs to the Turkish Cypriots. And of course, the Turkish Cypriots know about them, but they cannot do anything. As well as Greek Cypriots, we cannot do anything. After, if we have a solution, in that case, we will see how we'll solve also the housing issues. So they live in these houses, most of them. Some other they try to find a house, but unfortunately we have a big issue with houses in Cyprus, and especially in Limassol. Even the government tried to find a rent, they find a flat to rent. It's very expensive in Limassol, very expensive. So they cannot rent even a house in Cyprus, and especially in Limassol, because everything the rent are very high, which is they have to do something about this issue. So, and at the same time, social perception plays a crucial role. Stereotypes and prejudice continue to influence how the community is viewed. These perceptions are often based on limited knowledge and can lead to discrimination. It is important to understand that these factors do not operate independently. Everything are related. The school, the work, the employment, the work, the houses, everything are connected, and we actually the house and the work are very connected, and they have problems in the school. They cannot, they don't have rent, they don't have houses, they don't come to the school, they want help. These are very connected each other, and this is what we do as an association. We are trying to find solutions. We are trying, and not only the association and the school as well, to find. So they are trying to find full solution and try to bring the kids to the school, and to find again discrimination, which is very, very important. Limited access and to education, especially in the high school, affects employment opportunities. So economic instability, as I said before, affects housing conditions, social perceptions influences all of this. And this creates a cycle of marginalization that is reproduced across generations. So marginalization is therefore not only about a lack of resources, but also about lack of recognition and limited participation in social life. Social invisibility is a key concept for understanding the situation of Gurbettis. It is not referred to physical absence, but to lack of recognition and representation. The Gurbettis are present in Cyprus. They live in cities, they work, some of them, and they participate in everyday life. However, their presence is not fully acknowledged, as I said before, within institutional structures, policy frameworks, or public discourse. This creates a situation where the community exists but is not fully seen. That comes to the question that I asked to reflect in the beginning of my presentation. Invisibility has important consequences. First, it makes it difficult to understand the needs of the community. So if you are not invisible, how people will help you? So if you don't knock the door, not only me, but in general, you have to be visible to understand your problem and to help you. Or also to not just only to help, but also to help others as well. It's to give and back and forward. So if a group is not recognized, it is less likely to be included in policy decisions or support mechanisms. And this is an issue because sometimes we strangle and the governments, they call them to come into a dialogue. And I'm strangled to call them every day. And I tell them, come, we have a meeting. You have to talk about your problems. And from how, I don't know how many I call, 10, 15 people, they come on. But one is not enough. We are trying. We are trying to make them understand that it's not, you cannot expect something, but you have to do something and ask your friend. We can help, but the Roma in itself, themselves, that they have to try more. And because we are here, and I mean, what I see that they want to help all the government, but the visibility is very important. That's why I'm focusing on this because they are invisible. They are in social life. They need more. They have to go more in the media to discuss it as the Maronites, the Armenians, and the Latins. They have representatives and they ask for their rights and they are visible. This is what we are trying to do with the association, but still there is a need and there is a lot to do. So visibility is closely linked to power. When a community is visible, it can be represented. As I said before, when it is represented, it can participate. And when it participates, it can influence decisions that affect its future. In contrast, invisibility limits this possibility. And therefore, invisibility is not neutral. It is structural condition that shapes both external perceptions and internal experiences. So there are, as I said before, I go back again with the names and the nicknames that they use. They use among themselves nicknames to identify themselves. So nicknames are a common and important practice within the community because they have a lot of Roma. They use the same name, Ahmed, Mehmet. But who is Mehmet? If I say I talk with Ahmed, well, which one? So they use these nicknames to identify individuals in everyday interaction. They often refer to physical characteristics, personality traits, or social roles. Nicknames, again, function as markers of belonging and group identity, and they reflect internal social structures and relationships. I want you to hear some. I want to give you some examples of nicknames, which are for me or were really interesting when using them, and when I also understand when they say they are moody, I understand who is are moody. Is that I understand immediately because if they told me yes, Chris or Ahmed, he wants a help. Which Ahmed? Who? So for men, they have Armuti, so they call them in that way because he has or she has big eyes. I know he. Mahmouzle, the one who brings out beetles. Arab Suleiman, Arab Black Suleiman. Mitu with big nose. Mitu it comes from Greek. Midi. Chicolet from chocolate lover. Ali Manaf, the grocer Ali Ovic, they love a lot the football player. And for the women, Karaishe, the black Aishe, Pire with lice, lice, I don't know how they pronounce in the Greek. In English, palouze, it moves like jelly. It's a very nice, by the way, palouze, it's a food. It's a sweet, Greek sweet. Greek Cypriot. Cola, someone who likes Coke. Pipirik with little hair, Shindan, beautiful, and Chipine, thin. Which is actually very important that these markers, their identity, but inside their communities. But in some cases, according to one of my research, I saw that some they have positive, some they have negative feelings related to these nicknames. One interviewer said almost all Gurbettis have nicknames, often related to their appearance. For example, they call me Karali because I'm quite dark compared to others. I don't mind being called that. I am used to it. That's how I stand out from other Alis, from other Ali. But we have some other that they didn't like it. I don't like being called Mahmouzle, meaning the scoundrel, because I have beetles all over my body. At first, I felt bad and told them not to call me that because I don't like it. But now it's too late. When they give you a nickname, they don't erase it. You must accept it. So this illustrates how identity is shaped collectively within the community. Now, regarding their language, it's a mixed language shaped through long-term language contacts. In Cyprus, we have a long history where a lot of nations came and occupied the island, as you know, if you know. So they have a lot of, they used to have language contact. So in this Gurbetcha, there is a language of the Gurbetties, and it is, represents one of the most important aspects of their cultural identity. From a linguistic perspective, Gurbetcha can be described as a mixed or contact language, is, let's say, the repertoire of the Roma. Or it's not a language, but it's a repertoire, let's say, of the of Gurbettis. It includes elements from several linguistic traditions, such as Romanic, Turkish, Kurdish, Persian, and some Greek elements. This diversity reflects the historical experiences of the community, particularly their mobility and their interaction with the different linguistic environments. Gurbetcha is primarily a spoken language. It's not written, unfortunately. I tried to write it. I tried to make the alphabet. What I tried is also to make some books and lexicon for them. It's not enough. Still, there is a need or the linguists have to, more linguists have to, should, I think, continue the research and continue researching and documenting the language. Is not enough. My PhD, it was limited. It's not enough to document the language and to write down the language as it is. It is used in everyday communication, especially within the family and within close community networks. It is widely used in formal contexts such as education. It is not widely used in formal contexts such as education, administration, or media. This lack of institutional use contributes to its vulnerability. At the same time, Gurbetcha plays an important symbolic role. It is not only a means of communication, but also a marker, as I said before, and the nicknames are, and the Gurbetcha, this repertoire is the marker of identity and belonging. Through the language, speakers express their relationships, their experiences, and their shared history. In this sense, the language is not only a linguistic system, but also a cultural resource. However, because it is mainly oral and not widely supported, it is particularly vulnerable to decline. Again, in regards to the Gurbettis, are often bilingual or multilingual. Their language, as I said before, they speak mainly Turkish, Cypriot Turkish. Some, especially the older people, they speak Gurbetcha. The younger, not so much. Some expressions, some words. And just to say something before continue, unfortunately, I couldn't document a lot of older people. Um, I think that they used to, before the modern Gurbetcha, they used to talk in a proto-Gurbetcha. So, but it was different as far as I understood, with some words that I managed to record. They used to live the very in the very old time. They used a different way of speaking and different Gurbetcha. They used to call Gurbetcha, but they used different words and syntactically and morphologically. It wasn't different. It was different dialect or repertoire. Um, Now the language are mainly Cypriot dialect. It's a Cypriot structurally and morphologically, but they use more the lexicon that differs from the Cypriot Turkish. Cypriot Turkish is widely used in public and institutional context. Gurbetcha is mainly used within the community and in informal settings. It is more actively used by older generation, as I said before, and younger generations tend to use it less frequently. We try at the school to teach them some basic Gurbetcha and also some history, not a lot, but who are the Roma in general, and some characteristics of their cultural, historical view. But this is what we are doing at school, not as a compulsory course, but we asked people, the student at school who wants to attend. So we have some students that they want to learn more, and this is what we do to have some knowledge related to the Gurbetcha and the Roma, and only at our school, not in another school. So Gurbetcha is a mixed language with what appears to be predominantly Romani vocabulary. I'm here with the Roma. Borrowings and loan adaptations derived from source languages, Persian, Kurdish, Armenian, and Greek, of which the Cypriot Turkish forms the basic code with regards to its phonetics, morphology, and syntax. I will give you one just to hear how it sounds, the Gurbetcha. It was one of my transcription, one of my recording. The context is related to the fortune teller, just to see how it hears. I don't know, can you hear it?
Bir gacı var, Hrisom. Merisiyle 40 gün kahvedeler. Gacı başka gacoyu habbedeler, Hrisom. Ve başka gacı sunlar gacıya. Bizim mahallede bir gacı var. Zanır falına. Kendine gideleylim, zanırsın senin falına. Bir gün beraber gacıyla gideledik. Falımıza baktıraladık. Falcı sunladı bize, destini zanıyorum. Ben de bir dedim destimi sunladı bana. Sen merinle 40 gün kahvedelen. Çünkü sen başka gacoyu habbedelen. Hadi. Merini de isteylemen. Merin işkef gaco. Ama senin merin hoş olalayacak. Sonra sen şuula gideleyeceksin. Merine sonra drabın olalayacak. Sen 40 gün sorunların olalayacak. O bir gacoyla kahvedeleyeceksin. Sonra seni bırakalayacak.
This is how they sound. It sounds Turkish, but because they are the structure and the syntax, as I said before, the morphology. But again, they cannot understand the Cypriot Turkish or the Turkish. They cannot understand what they say because they use this lexicon. That difference, if you don't know the lexicon, you cannot get it 100%. So what is said here? There is a woman, Chryso, every day she argues with her husband. The woman fell in love with another man, my dear Chryso. And another woman told to the woman, in our neighborhood, there is a woman. She tells a fortune. Let's go to tell you the fortune. One day we went together with this woman. She told us our fortune. The fortune teller told us, give me your hands. And I gave her my hand. She told me, you fight with your husband every day because you fell in love with another man. And you don't want your husband. Your husband is a handsome man, but your husband will not make you happy. Then you will go with your husband to work. Then you will take money. You will have problems every day. You will fight with a man, and then she will leave you. That is a story of one of the interviewers. So in regards to the lexicon, includes, as I said, loan words, not only from the Indo-Aryan language family, but from the Indo-Iranian language family, Kurdish and Persian mainly, and from Afro-Asiatic language family, some Arabic. The lexicon borrowed from the donor language to Gurbetcha includes nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. And Romanes is the donor language with the highest percentage of loanwords. I will move on. Some are lexical examples are like busno, they use it, chang, yek, gajo, gachi, kotor, which is money, they use, and they have it also in Romanes, which was quite, I mean, very important. I really like that they found this lexicon and they still use them. So why Gurbetcha is endangered? There is a reduced transmission of the language to younger generation. That was the Ministry of Education and Culture tried to avoid it, to allow students as a not obligatory course, but to give them the opportunity to learn the language and to transmit to their to other generations. But still, there is a limitation because it's only in our school, and other Roma people that are attend other schools, they cannot participate, unfortunately. The dominant languages have higher social prestige, so this, especially the Cypriot Turkish, is a dominant language, and they have, let's say, higher social prestige comparing to the Gurbetcha. Gurbetcha, unfortunately, is not supported within the formal education systems. There are no widely used written materials. Even I'm trying to write it and to produce some materials are not enough. Social pressure encourages the use of dominant languages, and marginalization, as I said before, contributes to language decline. Another theme is that the language shift. Today, Gurbetcha, as I said, is endangered. One of the main processes affecting it is language shift. Language shift refers to the gradual replacement of one language by another. So in this case, younger generations are increasingly using dominant languages, such as Cypriot, Turkish, Greek, and Greek. This shift influences by several factors. First, dominant language, as I said before, associated with opportunities. Second, there is often social pressure to use dominant languages. And third, there is a lack of institutional support. So as a result, family may gradually stop using the language at home because they are switching and shifting from Gurbetcha to Cypriot dialect, Cypriot Turkish or Cypriot Greek. So language shift is therefore not only a linguistic process, but also a social one. So this is a core argument, which again, the marginalization leads to invisibility. Invisibility again leads to lack of support, and this ultimately results in language decline.
Chriso,
I know I finished. Yeah. I know. I have 5 minutes. I will finish with this. I finished. I just wanted to, I will give this. What can we do to save and support Gurbetcha? Of course, language development. Actually, we develop language planning strategies to document more the Gurbetcha, to collect and to archive oral text, to create practical writing system. We prepare dictionaries and grammar descriptions. This is my book, and this is what we're trying, but we have, I gave to the Ministry to the ministry to have a look and to see if they will accept to print out this book for future usage. It's for the 6 and 12 years old, this first part, and which is very important to have a corpus. Education and transmission, to encourage families to use Gurbetcha at home, to support the intergenerational language transmission, to design teaching and learning materials, to organize community language workshops, to promote heritage language education and for children, documentation and research, digital presence. We are, at the moment, we are a part of one project, the Anti-Gypsyism project, and thankfully the Roma take part in this project, which is very nice because it's a way to make themselves visible. Again, we taking part in cultural events and to go to the media and talk about themselves, about their identity, about their cultural and historical and history is very important for their existence and visibility. It's important to advocate for minority language recognition, to collaborate again with other NGOs, to secure fundings, another issue, and it's a very big issue, the fundings for revitalization initiatives to develop long-term sustainability strategies. Okay, I will finish with this. The Roma, just to know, the Association of Roma and Friends is an NGO founded in 2017. We started before, but these are mainly we start our work in 2017. We work to improve the situation of Roma in Cyprus. We promote education, welfare, housing, and employment and support. We fight against racism and discrimination. We promote Roma social inclusion within Cypriot society. And our member includes Roma and non-Roma, of course, professionals from different backgrounds. Thank you all for your time and for give me also the opportunity to talk about this. And if you have any question, I'm here to answer you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, dear Chris. So we have only a couple of minutes for the questions, but if everyone is okay, we can stay a little bit longer. So any questions or comments? I don't see the hands. Probably I will start. Maybe Stefan, you also have. Yeah, okay, maybe Stefan, then you can start.
Yes.
I think I would be very, very much interested in knowing more about the language. Clearly, I recognize quite a few of the words. The morphology is definitely more Turkish than Romanesque, that's for sure.
Yes.
So that was lost a while back. So is there any material that can be obtained or looked at or whatever?
Yes, of course I have. I can send you the link. I don't have it now, but I can send to Hannah and they can give you.
That would be very.
It's actually my PhD. You can have a look on this, but also I have other documents and I can articles and I can send. I can share with you, of course. And thank you for your interest, really.
And then what
I really like, but it will be. I take it out. You know, I put it in the slides and said no. It will be tiring. Let's remove the more linguistic. Yes, disappear. Yeah, because it's better to talk with the. I try to talk more with regarding the invisibility and marginalization.
One question, because you're using the word Rom, and Rom generally is man or husband.
Yes, Rom and Roma, the plural.
Do they use that?
They know that who are the Roma. They don't call themselves Roma, not at all. We use only in the documents, in official documents, formal documents, with the European documents. But every time I said that they are Gurbetties.
But because I'm
not
asking,
Roma, because they have different historical backgrounds. No, they are not Roma.
I'm just asking because, you know, for example, the Sinti say we're not Roma, but they say Miro Rom or Miri Romni. So that's definitely the case. So
they say bis Gurbettis. We are Gurbettis.
So they don't use it even for husband and wife.
No, not at all between them. Okay. They say Gurbettis as, let's say, more formal. Yeah. Of course, as I said, regarding the identity, as a social status, they use that we are Cypriots, we are Turkish Cypriots. Then a low level, let's say the Gurbettis, but again, comparing to Chingene, to Tsinganos, and to Ole and to Fellak, as I said before, again, is formal, let's say, between them, we are Gurbettis. and they are proud, some of them. It depends where and who they are talking about and to whom they are talking. They hide their identity. They're afraid. They have this fear they're afraid of expressing who they are, unfortunately. I'm trying to tell them that don't afraid of being yourself and talk about your past and about your identity. It's good to know because they are not Turkish Cypriots. They are Roma. They are Gurbettis. They have different background, historical background. But after the 1960s, they asked them to write down and to say to which communities they want to belong, to the Turkish Cypriots or to the Greek Cypriots. And because of the let's say the religious status, because they are Muslims, they said that we belong to the Turkish community because they are Muslims. Not because they are not Turkish Cypriots. But after the passing all these years, they feel that the belonging, they feel that they are Cypriots. Of course they are Cypriots, but they are not Turkish Cypriots, but they say that they are Turkish Cypriots. But it's a matter of being and feeling, or it's a matter of belonging, to feel that they belong and they have an identity and they have an identity card. And but again, it's very important not to hide your identity. It's very important. And this is what I'm trying with the association to make them feel proud of what they are. Of course, they are Cypriot and they live in our society and we accept them. That's all, but not Roma. Not at all. They don't say not at all. They don't use Romni, Roma. No, not at all. Yes.
I see more hands. Carol
Yes.
turned on camera. Please go ahead. And then Hussein.
First, thank you so much.
Carol.
It's really, really, really interesting. So I have a
Thank
few
you.
comments and questions. First of all, your own positionality, because I work in an NGO with Roma as well, being non-Roma. I don't know if you're Roma or another group or whatever, and I was wondering if you could reflect on the leadership roles in the NGO working with Roma and developing leadership skills so that, in a sense, non-Roma are not needed anymore, because that's a really important moment now of Roma taking charge of their own futures. The other thing is, I'm not sure I agree with you of the whole concept of invisibility, because I think it's basically the negative stereotype that takes over, which is very visible. So it's not that they're invisible to the majority, it's that they're stereotyped by the majority in a very negative way. And there might be some positive things too. And on that binary, I do want to ask if there are musicians in the community that might be stereotyped as necessary for celebrations and so on, because sometimes musicians have a higher status in the community. But to me, it's like the reason why people pass and say that they're Turkish Cypriots or whatever, Turks and is because of the stigma, of the stereotype,
Yes, I
of the
agree.
negative.
I agree.
And so the work that we need to do as non-Roma is to actually work with non-Roma to break down these prejudices. It's how can you tell Roma to have pride when it's dangerous to be Roma walking down the street, or you can't get a permit, or you can't live? So to me, it's very important to talk about the structural barriers to pride. I just wanted to offer that.
It's really difficult to to be the leader, let's say, of the association, because even that, not all the Gurbettis are part of the association. What I see is that when they have a need, they come. When I'm trying to explain them that there is very important to avoid all these stereotypes. Yes, yet this is correct that yes, there is stereotypes and this beyond this visibility. Yes, I agree with that, Carol. It's really hard, but what I'm trying is to some of them give them some information about what is happening in other countries as well, and which is very important to have an idea what is happening and what are they doing the other Roma in other countries, to have examples, to take part as well in other seminars and events that make them feel acceptable and not acceptable, to understand the importance of being what they are and to fight about themselves by themselves, to fight against these stereotypes and this discrimination. We are not a lot in this association. There are not a lot of Roma and Gurbettis in the Republic of Cyprus, but mainly what we do, as I said, we struggle through, but we are doing also some events to make them visible and to show them either with the music part, because there are some that they play music and they sing, and which is very good. And what we try as in the Limassol in Provit in Limassol is to make a band with some of them and to make them because they sing among themselves, not outside. We want them because this family, they are a mixed family, that they are Greek Cypriots and Gurbettis. They speak Greek, so they sing also in Greek. So it's good to come out to the Greek society and to sing. I invited in 2-3 times in our events and in some other events, and which I give them as a leader. This is what I'm trying to do to make them visible in order to let's say minimize these stereotypes and fight against this discrimination. With the music, as I said, we try a lot. As a school, there have some special program. They call it musiki polychromia, musical polychromy, and they come from musicians in our school, and they play violin, and they give this violin to the kids, and they play in many other places, in other schools, in other open public events. So we try through music, which is very important, to make them feel through music and through other arts, be visible again. And I am fight with the discrimination and stereotypes, which are good. I don't know if I answered correctly, but this is what we do. And of course, there are other issues that we try to, as a leader, I write letters to the ministers. They have issues with the electricity issues. They have issues with with YESI, with they don't have cards issue. They have issue problem. They cannot go to the hospital. They don't have identities. We try to make them, because everything is nowadays everything is online. They don't know how to make online applications. So we do a lot of work in the association, and this is another part. It's not. It's like a human support. I don't know, Carol, if I answered correctly. Yes, thank you. Okay,
Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you. We have 2 more questions very quickly. Hussein,
By the
then
way,
Milena.
once I can send you, Carol, what we do with the musicians. They are really great. They are doing a great work. And now with the presidency in Cyprus, they will open our school, and which is very nice. The kids of our school from all the school of Cyprus, they will all the kids, they will play violin, and they will sing in this with their teachers, the musicians. I can send you link to have a look. Thank you.
Thanks, Hussein.
Yes, I have one point to make about the Constitution of 1960.
Yes,
During the development of this constitution, communities were not asked if they want to belong to
it was
a
in a parenthesis, of
Muslim.
course, not asked.
They were
Yes,
not asked, or
they
they did not declare affiliation into communities they were imposed upon or
imposed
defaulted because they were Muslims. They were
Muslims.
defaulted
Yes,
into Turkic Muslim community, so they were not asked.
that's it.
Second
You have
issue,
you
I
just
think.
once. Okay, sorry. Yeah, continue.
Second issue is about, I think, one of the aspects of these conversations, be it in NGO context, activism, and also in academic environments, which strikes me is um, that as if something is internally wrong with Roma, Çingene, Gurbeti, or different Lom Dom, as if something has to be corrected about them. The way they are is a proof that they are imperfect. So we have to help them raise
Yes,
their leaders. We have to
of
help them
course.
to become visible. As if as they are not deserving or they are not entitled to be counted as human beings. I think there is a kind of essential language issue in our environments, in these conversations, which we have to focus and discuss what it leads to from the perspective of academics and as well as the NGO activism that is involved, be it particularly by the non-Roma. Okay, these are the points I want to raise.
Thank you
Hopefully,
so
I
much.
will finish up with quickly with a question. Gurbetty of southern Cyprus is related to the northern Gurbetty group, northern Cyprus Gurbetty group. What sort of relations do you observe between the groups in the north and in the south? And is there any, obviously there is a conflictual history to the communities living on this on the island. What sort of communication do you have with the scholars in the northern side, researchers or activists, in relation to Gurbeti of northern Cyprus? And what sort of perspectives, if there is this relationship, is out there?
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yes, regarding the point that I said that they asked, okay, in a parenthesis, we don't know if they asked, but they told me when I came into communication with other Roma in the north, they told me that they asked them. But if it's correct or wrong, we don't know. Maybe they are forced them because they are, or they decided because of the, as you said, they are Muslims. More or less is this because they couldn't be part of the with the Christians. So yeah, sorry. I mean, it was in a parenthesis they were asked. And regarding the other issue, I mean, with the as far as I know, because I work only with the Roma, with the Gurbettis in the Republic of Cyprus. Of course, they have a mobility. They go and they go and back from the north to the south. I'm not sure if there are other dome probably they have in the north. I didn't make any specific research related to I mean, related to this with the other with others communities. Of course, there are some relatives that they I know that they live in the north, and we have we contact them. I know that Roman Lar they are also there, but I don't know more about them. I didn't research them. Also, I didn't research also the Mandides that, as I said in my presentation, I mentioned there are the Roma of came from the Balkans, and but they still live in Larnaca, but they are also exist. I mean, they are not so visible again, and because there are this marriage with the Greek Cypriot, so we don't know a lot. I didn't search. I didn't make any research to them. Of course, it will be very interesting to find these people and to make more research. One friend of mine, Greek Cypriot, make socio-linguistic, let's say, one with 2-3 people, I think, Mandis in Larnaca, but still there's a need for more research with this population. So I cannot answer, unfortunately, who are them and if there are any communication between them. What I can say is that at least in Limassol, what I see is that they have relation with Kurdish, with the Kurdish community in Limassol. They get married or not. They have relationships and they communicate with them in the south part of the island. And that's it. Related to the other, in regards to the other researchers, I have some communication with other researchers. I want to find more. To be honest, I know some of them, and we presented in the Egyptian Society one of them. But again, there is a need. There is a need for more research to come the researchers into contact, and to continue researching this, let's say, the Gurbettis, and to find more information about them. There is more a need to research and analyze more all these issues, because there is a limitation, as I said, and that was my real problem in my PhD research. It was a lack of resources, which makes more difficult to analyze and to move on with the research.
Thank you. Okay, I hope we still can have 5-6 minutes. Nina had a question. Nina, please. Nina? Okay, yeah.
A couple of yes/no questions, just yes/no. Does the language of people living here, Roma in Cyprus, have their language only in the oral form or in a written as well? Yes or no?
I didn't hear you very well there.
Do they have their language only in written, only in the oral form, or in written as well?
Okay. They don't
Yes.
write the Gurbetcha. No.
Okay.
It's oral.
Only oral. Yeah. And are there any examples of poetry or other kinds of literature in this language? No. Okay.
No,
Thank you so much.
Only
Thanks
this.
so much for research. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And then if we still have 2 minutes, I would also ask one question and also comment. I want first to relate to Hussein's comment. What Hristo, you said, it's kind of that we have to work with Roma to explain them who they are, or they would understand who they are. I think it's kind of the language which particularly non-Roma, I think, should avoid, because it's again related to what Hussein said. To me, it sounds like very power position and kind of colonial language. First of all, not all Roma want to be visible, and it's their right. And yeah, of course. And then second, again, from my perspective, any initiative should be supported. However, I have also this problem with the language that we like kind of white people explain. You see, the connotation here is kind of negative. White people explain others, non-white, that how they have to behave.
What are you saying?
Yeah, you see, I just don't want to be harsh, but basically it sounds like that. And I hear this very often, actually, that Romani groups cannot understand who they are. They, of course, some of them are assimilated. The same case in Taifa in Crimea. They're very assimilated. They assumed, in many cases, identity of Crimean Tatars. However, maybe this is their way to live. And here I also connect to Stefan and returning to the question of the identity. You say that Gurbeti basically say that they're non-Roma, they're Gurbeti. What exactly does it mean? Did you ask what it means for them to be Gurbeti?
Gurbettis is someone, they told me, that they say that we are not Roma. I think that they don't know exactly the meaning. But they can distinguish. We are not like others, they say. And I said, what do you mean others? We are not, we didn't came from the same place. And where did you came from? From Arab, they say. Do you have any, I mean, who told you this? Our grandparents. They said that we came from the Arab, from the, so they speak Arabic, I said, and say, we don't know, but we know some phrases. And from that point, I wrote down some expressions, and I analyzed, and I understood that, yeah, in the first, Gurbettis, probably they came from this Middle Egypt, which is not Egypt, very under Antalya, as far as I know. And they used to speak in the Proto-Gurbetcha, which I think, are very common to the Dom. There are similarities with Dom. Again, that was my at the beginning. I said that I couldn't manage to record the older people to talk me more, let's say, deep Gurbetcha. So it would be very good if I can find more opportunity to visit the north, because in the south part, in the Republic of Cyprus, we don't have older people. So I think that I have to do again my trip to the north and with friends and to find them. But again, it's not easy to record. It's not easy to, even if I know them, because there are a lot of relatives, I can contact them, but they don't speak openly the language, unfortunately. And it was really hard for me. So Gurbettis, as far as I said, that we are, actually they couldn't explain what they are. They just say we are Gurbettis. And they couldn't explain me the meaning. They just only said that we are from Arab. Again, this without any explanation. They cannot. They don't know. But they said we are not Roma. We are not from Bulgaria. We are not from Romanian. We are Gurbettis. So they distinguish the people that from Balkans from their identity. This is what I managed to record and to have as a result. I don't know, to be honest, more. But they cannot say a lot of things, unfortunately.
So no any other identity markers, like, I mean, I understand that they cannot give the formulation, but they can kind of hint or say that, okay, as you say, we are from Arabs, so we are non-Roma, but something else, like, I don't know, religious marker, something lifestyle, I don't know, any other markers did they give you in the conversations?
They actually they follow a lot of the cultural aspect. They follow the Turkish Cypriots. They don't have any specific differences with the cultural things of, as far as I saw. Only this. I mean, they didn't say anything. I didn't see also anything, because I spent a lot of time and a lot of hours in their houses, but I didn't see anything. Or I visited their marriage, their religious, events. But even that, as far as I understand, is the same like the events that the Turkish Cypriots does. I don't know if they have, I don't know if someone else here know more. They can help with that. But no, unfortunately, Hannah, I couldn't find any extra information related. I mean, for example, in Greece, the Roma they have a lot of things, and they can differ, and you can see these different the cultural things that differs from the Greek. But no, here, no, I didn't see anything. They follow the same, and they speak Cypriot Turkish. They speak Cypriot, mainly they speak Cypriot Turkish dialect. They don't speak so much outside again Gurbetcha. That's why it will be extinct. I mean, I don't think so that in few years they will not a lot of people will unfortunately speak this repertoire, this language.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No. If Christo, you want to say something else? If not, then we have to finish already. We took like half an hour.
Thank you so much
more.
again for the invitation.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to contact me, here's my email. And if you want to have any research with me and to start any research, I'm welcoming any proposal. I'm really glad to continue researching because it's really hard for those that they cannot speak Turkish, especially in the Republic of Cyprus. They cannot contact them. They cannot make research. And especially if they don't trust you, they don't accept you, and they don't want to say anything. And even the truth. What they really. So it's very important to trust you. Very, very important. And this is what I'm doing, to trust not me and also other members in the association, and to move on and to do more more about them for their future, for a better future for their kids, for their child. This is very important. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much, everyone, for participation, comments and questions. Thank you so much, Christo. And of course, building the trust is very important. And the next our talk will be in the end of May. I will inform you, of course, via mails. So that would be May 27th. And thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.